A very good evening and welcome to Big Talk, a program where we highlight political issues concerning Nigeria. Tonight on the program, we'll be looking at two topics, PDP crisis on one hand, and also we'll look at Donald Trump's comment about Nigeria as a country of particular concern. My name is Ubong Usora, and I'm saying welcome to the program. Let's go for a short break, and when we're back, I'll show you some of the top trending political stories that we are able to bring to you at this point. All right, so the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, will be heading for its convention on the 14th and 15th of this month in Ibadan. That's Oyo State capital. But it is not without controversy, as now we had the National Secretary of the party, Senator Sam Anyanwu, leading a faction that has gone ahead to promote the National Vice Chairman of the party not to becoming the National Chairman of the party, according to that particular faction of the party. And they are not in support of that particular convention. The other day, I covered them at the PDP Secretariat Wadata House when they took over the Secretariat and also, made statements telling supporters what they want and where the party is headed. But on the other hand, we have Umar Damago, who still claims to be the national chairman of the PDP and still talking strong as to how to lead the PDP into the convention scheduled for 14th and 15th in Ibadan, or your state capital. And all of this will be expressed by a chieftain of the PDP and a former local government chairman of Ovia South in Edo State, Mr. Destiny Enabulele, who is joining us live on the program. But before we bring our guest in, let's check some trending political discussions we're able to track for you this hour. We'll take the first story for tonight. Oti hails Solodo's re-election as a sign of public confidence. The Abia State's governor, Alex Oti, has described the re-election of Governor Charles Solodo of Anambra as a testament to the confidence of the people, the people of the state reposed in him. So Oti is saying, Solodo, congratulations on your re-election. Let's take another story tonight. PDP candidates pledges to work with Solodo, urges inclusive government. The People's Democratic Party candidate in the just concluded Anambra State governorship election, Jude Ezewafo, has pledged to work alongside Governor Chukwuma Solodo to advance the development of the state. And talking about the PDP, I would say they had a poor showing, right? Just over 1,000 votes in that particular election, where Governor Solodo had over 444,000 there. About APC had over close to 100,000, 99 and some factions. And we had the YPP also do very well, and the Labour Party come forth, and the PDP, just about 1,000 votes. But that's not what we're talking about tonight. Let's take another story now. Good governance impossible without strong legislature, says ex-minister. Former Minister of National Planning, Professor Abubakar Suleiman, today has stated that we cannot achieve meaningful development in Nigeria without a strong and effective legislative institution. Let's take the last story for tonight. Showere remains wanted, Lagos Commissioner of Police insists. The Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Mushood Jimo, has once again reiterated that human rights activists and the 2023 presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, Omoyele Showere, remains wanted for attempting to cause public disturbance in the state. And let's get back to the studio now. All right, so now we highlight issues concerning the People's Democratic Party, as we have a chieftain of the party with us in the studio. Later on, we'll also talk about Donald Trump's comments concerning Nigeria, Mr. Destiny Enabulele. And maybe as we have this discussion, we'll try to pull out some of those videos. The video where I did where we had the Anyanwu, Senator Anyanwu faction chairman, Abdurrahman, addressing journalists, and I was there talking about that his work with the party now is to reposition the party and make sure he solves all the lingering crises in the party. And also, we also have videos where Umar Damago has spoken. I also did that report where he spoke and said he is still the authentic chairman of the party, and the party will move ahead with the planned convention. All of these issues concerning the PDP. Let's move down to Mr. Destiny Anabulele, who is a civil society leader and also former local government chairman of Ovia Southwest in Edo State. Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Destiny, for joining us tonight on the program. It seems your party is in some sort of crisis, and people will ask, is there a way forward? But let's interrogate the crisis. What is happening with the PDP?
Well, sorry, let me appreciate you and your platform for again giving me yet another opportunity. Well, good evening, viewers. And you see, let me say this very quickly. What is happening in PDP is not new. And let me quickly correct one impression. As we speak very just now, Damago is still the chairman. And INEC has acknowledged that. And not the National Working Committee that they had in FCT, not that one, but the National Working Committee of the party. They have since, written to INEC. INEC this afternoon or this morning acknowledged that Damago is the authentic PDP party chairman. And indeed that they will go and observe the National Convention in Ibadan or your state. So for us, the crisis in PDP, I must be very frank with you. We must be very careful as a nation. We must be very careful as a nation. Otherwise, we're about to repeat history. History has a way of repeating itself by being engineered by us that have lost touch with history. I will take you back to 1962, if you have forgotten. As a student of history, and part of my thesis was presidential elections in Nigeria drawn from. I've been interrogated, and I have discovered that with what is playing now, engineered by the presidency or the president, whichever way you decide to put it, whether the president or the presidency, for me, it's likened to 6.5 dozen. You see, we must be very careful. You recall that during 1962, the Abubakar, Awolowo, and Nnamdi Azikiwe. The conundrum, the crisis that bedeviled, and the issue of Awolowo and Akintola at that time, and the Abubakar, trying to suffocate Awolowo at that time, of being alleged of trying to for treason, and he was sentenced to jail. And you and I know what follows, and what followed in the West as a result of Wild West. Wet him or wet her, Operation Wealthy. We're about to repeat it again because then there was a force trying to suffocate a part of the system. I said it. You see, when you have something upstairs and you are going into a contest, your opponent, you should allow a level playing field for your opponent so that both of you can contest it, favorably.
So are you trying to say that the president, like you mentioned, you said the presidency or the president, that they are the problem of the PDP? Is that the foundation?
Without missing words, they are. But
he's not a member of the party.
Well, you see, we must be very frank. My elder brother, Wike, as we speak very just now, he's still a member of PDP. And he claims that he's still a member. But the faction led by, what's his name again? Samayahu and the rest. The meeting that was held at the quote-unquote National Working Committee was held in FCT. So what do you call that? So he has been the agent to destabilize. His task, use the word, please underline, was to cause, disturbance in every other platform that will give the president a tough, fight. And that's exactly what they are doing. And now, it's playing out in Labour. And you saw what happened in ADC not too long ago. So it's not here to rule for ADC. So for us, as a political watchers and participants, we are watching. We are trying to, draw a conclusion or try to look at the solution from history, as a student of history. I told you just now. So if you flash back to 1962, and later what happened in 1966, there is a correlation between 1962 and 1966.
But
so I want to appeal.
But we've had the president, right? We've had the president on TV, talking about the issues in political parties and people blaming. And he said it's not his place as a leader of a party to put political parties and their houses in order. It is not his place. He talked about it and even laughed about it, right? So the president is, at least, has come out very clear to say it's not my place to keep. Can we also interrogate the members of those political parties?
Let me quickly say this. Let me quickly say this. If APC as a party says you should look left, I bet you please look right. I bet you please look right. Because you don't. You just saying that he will admit that he is the cause, or perhaps he is the one that engineer what is happening in PDP. No, let us be very sincere. So for us, I'm not saying what he is doing is bad or wrong. I use the word bad or wrong. I didn't say right. So for me, he must try to consult students of history to advise him better, so that we'll be able to take a cue from 1962 to 1966. Right, because not too long ago, very recently, people have been saying if there will be a country. That is what is in the lips of everybody. But for me, this is the only passport I have. And for me, I'm praying every day that there was going to be a country called Nigeria. So that's why for us, we have been saying it. I've said in this platform some time ago that our military, when we're having this crisis, this insecurity, left, right, center, that they were behaving like a last born that had been over-pampered. You know, when you over-pampered a last born, you have to practically, even you go ahead to write exam for him or her. We have seen cases. So for me, but at the point they were almost proving us wrong, that they weren't behaving like a last born that had been overfed or perhaps pampered. So for me, I want to appeal to President and his co-travelers that they need to create an enabling environment for a very sincere contest. If he wins, good. If he loses, good. It has happened before. Yeah, but good of Jonathan. Let's allow a level playing field for all of us. We have participated.
Let's stay with the PDP. The issues of the
I'm staying with the PDP.
The issues of the PDP didn't start today. Right? At least still after, the issues leading to all of the issues, I will look at the root issues, right? The root causes of all of them. Remember, after that convention where His Excellency, at that time, the governor of Rivers...
I will help you. I will help you.
Just a minute.
I will help you.
Just a minute.
Sariaki, Amechi,
yes.
The former vice president.
The PDP had its own.
I will help you.
The PDP had issues to resolve. So why were those issues not resolved? And from what we are seeing, those are the issues that have snowballed into what we're having, the different factions we're having today.
Sorry, let me quickly say this. If you are a student of history and you try to cast your mind back to when President Ahmed Bola Tinubu was a governor, as he then was in Lagos State, try to look at the scenario, the political scenario in Lagos State, and now vis-a-vis the national scenario as it is now, you will agree with me that perhaps it's likened to the voice of Esau and the hand of I'm not a Bible school teacher. And the hand of Jacob. It's likened to it. And for me, there's no way you will exonerate the presidency, quote unquote, and the president.
For the problems happening.
For the problem that is happening now, you know why? He has empowered one of their own, financially viable, mobile, to cause disharmony in PDP. That's exactly. See, we must learn to call a spade. It's never a guiding fork. That is exactly what we are facing now. And if you, as I use the word, I wouldn't want to. If you cast your mind back to Lagos State, 1999, the AD, just name APP, just name them. SDP in Lagos State, 1999 to 2027. If you look at the scenario, I was a student. I followed him, bomber to bomber, because I love his style of governance. Because that time when he created LCDA, the then governor OBJ Olusegun Obasanjo, the then president Olusegun Obasanjo, called his bluff, and refused to, he withheld the allocation meant for Lagos State. But he was able to survive, to meander, to midwife the crisis and I call it bluff of the president and the presidency as at that time. So that's why one thing I love him, that I followed him, Bomba, to study him. But today, he's using his God-given talent for the wrong reason.
But you're not talking about the issues of the PDP. You just talked about the roots.
Yes,
after the convention. What happened with the convention?
You see, what happened then? You see, with utmost humility to the SY vice president. You see, what then? There were some disgruntled, permit me, elements. And what's his name again? The former River State and Minister for Transportation.
Rotimi Amechi.
Rotimi Amechi, the Saraki, the then Senate President, and the likes. They felt that they were very comfortable with the scheme of things in the PDP as it then was. So they decided to, and this the former vice president thought that now is the turn of the North, knowing fully well that Goodluck Jonathan completed the tenure of Yar'Adua as a result of his demise. So there was a crisis. So for me, if you look at the argument then, to some extent, it was tenable. Because that tenure was meant for the North, not necessarily for the South. Because of his demise as a result of death, may he so rest in peace, Goodluck Jonathan steps in. For me, in politics, with utmost humility, there's agreement tomorrow. Agreement today might not be agreement tomorrow. So that's exactly what happened. And they had a very genuine, cause that they were out to fight. And they discovered that nobody were willing to listen, and they now pitched tent with APC. And that's why we are here today. And that is exactly what the man in the saddle of leadership, the presidency and the president, what they are trying to implement in this present day and time. That's why I'm admonishing, I'm pleading, because this is the only country we have. I don't have a passport of any other.
So from what you are saying, you see that the issues of the PDP were caused by the people in the PDP. And even the things that are happening today, they are not members of the APC. They are not coming to cause issues inside the PDP. It's still members of the PDP that have formed factions close to their elections or whatever. It's members of the PDP that went to court and said more consultation was not done. So is there a way the PDP can look itself and tell itself that it has failed Nigerians? Because a lot of Nigerians used to believe in that political party. As a member of the PDP and a former local government chairman, can you look at yourself and in all truth and in sincerity, and you feel that that political party has failed Nigerians?
With utmost humility, I'm a very, I believe in the truth, because I know it is only truth that will set us free. For sure, PDP has its own side.
Has failed Nigerians.
I haven't said they failed Nigerians. They have the own side of the blame. You see, when you are being tutored, or perhaps when you are born into wealth, and suddenly the breadwinner is no longer there, and you are now led to start from the scratch, it is difficult. PDP have been issued from 1999. At the time, the pride said that they will rule this country for 60 years. But at the end of the day, they rule for 16 years. So they are not used to being in opposition. The only party I've been issued that have been to be opposition is APC. If you go back to history, even now they are still behaving as if they are in opposition. They are still behaving. If you look at it, very dispassionately, you will see that they are behaving as if they are in opposition. They've forgotten that they are ruling. They are ruling. Just take a look, a closer look at it. You understand perfectly what I'm saying. So the problem is this: PDP to some extent, they have failed the platform.
They have failed Nigerians.
They have failed the platform.
No, not the platform. They have failed Nigerians.
Yes, to some extent, yes. But the issue that they failed Nigerian.
Because the PDP had from 1999 to 2015, and there are comparison. We can bring notes on economy, on security,
Definitely.
and on healthcare. How well did the PDP do in all of these fields?
If you see, there's no way you will compare in terms of, then we're just leaving the military rule to a civilian rule. And there was a lot of stabilization. And we must give it to the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo. Many of our debts that time they were cancelled as a result of his diplomatic, engagement, left, right, center. He engaged many Nigerians. They were in abroad, technocrats and what have you, like Professor Ngozi Owela and Akinwumi and many more. Yeah. But today, what do we have in government? We have some clique, some set of persons that were before now errand men and women to the president in Lagos State or in Osun State or in Ogun State that are not being in saddle of leadership. Tell me any technocrat among those that we have now. See, there are certain things when it comes to governance. When it comes to governance, we must get some capable hands. I'm not saying that us that are living in this country we are not capable. There are certain things that we need some capable hands that you don't need to play politics with, like our judiciary, as we speak very just now. Our judiciary, as we speak very just now, is nothing to write home about.
But we're talking
it's not a thing that we come up with.
Honorable, let's stay with the PDP. I asked a question. 1999 to 2015, the PDP was saddled as a ruling party.
Definitely.
And let's compare notes. In health, I talked about health, in the healthcare sector, the educational sector. We know how many years, we know how many comparatively, 1999 to 2015, we had more than 1 year of strike.
Let me say this.
We had more than 1 year of strike.
Let me quickly say this. Let me quickly say this. See, a foundation of a solid, if you are embarking on a building, for you to have a solid building, you must have a very solid foundation. When you have a foundation that is not solid, that building will collapse. PDP, to some extent, were able to give us, they gave us a solid foundation. What was expecting?
Electoral reforms?
What was expecting, yes, I must say it, the Goodluck Jonathan. Allow a level playing field for everybody.
But the civil society saying that the worst election was conducted. No, their names are mentioned. The civil society says the worst election was conducted on the platform of the PDP.
Wait on now. What did they take 2023? What did they take 2024? What happened in Edo? That INEC produced two result sheets for a single election? Oh, my brother, we must be frank to ourselves. You can see what is happening in Edo as we speak very just now. The foundation laid by the SY, by Governor Norias Obasekin, has been overnight. You had one yesterday that some foreigners that came to MOA, the Museum of West African Arts, they were attacked. Foreigners that came, white. Perhaps you've not seen the video. They were attacked. Everything that he has put in place, this present administration, they're trying to bring everything down. And tomorrow, and it's not working, you will say the SY Governor Obaseki did not perform well. You see, governance is continual. If I stop in A, you will stop in B. You can see what is happening in Lagos State as we very just now. We must give it to them. There's a continuity in Lagos State. The governor of the dead governor, Governor Tinubu, led the foundation. The other man, what's his name? Fashola came and did his own. Then Wambode came. Then now we have Sanwo-Olu. If you go to Lagos, that is where they are progressing. But now you learn in Edo, as to speak. This president, I won't use any derogatory, words or language. They are trying to. We're not becoming a laughing stock.
Just a minute.
Before the subnational government.
Just a minute, Honorable, so that we go for our first break, right? We're talking about the PDP crisis and how to move forward. I'd like to ask this before, so I can lead us into our first break. We'll come back and we'll talk about Nigeria as a country of particular concern. what is the future of the PDP now? Yes, we know that this party has all of these issues before it prides itself as the biggest political party in Africa, the biggest political party of the black people, a party that, Governor Sule said it, a party that will rule for 60 years. Some people say it will rule, and a lot of permutations.
I know I wrote something about it in social media at that time.
Your political party, Honorable.
No, then I was in civil society. I must be very frank.
So what are you thinking about this political party now, the PDP? Are you seeing any future for this party at this time? Leadership tussles everywhere. Everybody wants to be a leader. But there's one, recurring decimal. Consultation. Yes, Omwike has talked about the fact that proper consultation was not done. And even those who filed the lawsuits, seeking to stop the convention, talked about the fact that a proper consultation was not done. Is your party consulting?
Sorry. Let me quickly say this. No, proper consultation is relative. We are students of history. We are students of English. It is relative. It is when it's not going your way, you say there is no proper consultation. Even the document that was signed by Sam Anyanwu said he didn't sign. So that's the problem. You see, we have to see they've reduced everything to as if we are buying tomatoes and pepper in the market, which ought to have been a serious business. Managing a political party ought to be a serious, because that is where it starts. Before you now go to the larger society where you manage the country. If you remember the Action Group that time, you saw what the late Sage was trying to do with Action Group. It had a very formidable networks in left, right, center. Because I did some study. They moved on at the time. The party at the time was engaging in contract to be able to finance the party. At the time they had a chopper as a party. They had clear cut ideology, clear cut ideology, unlike what we have now. Tell me, given the parties that we have now, they don't have any ideology. We talk about humility. That is why you see, if you are a governor of PDP in the morning, before noon, you are a governor of the other party by noon. It is sickly. So for me, we must go back to the drawing board.
That's the leadership. That's the PDP.
Yes, definitely. PDP and the country at large.
So let's stay with the PDP. We talk about the country, but let's stay with the PDP.
The issue is this, which is very simple. The National Convention will determine the way forward. I'm a realist. I must tell you the plain truth. Truth is likened to a lion. You don't need to protect the lion. Let the lion loose. If the lion enters here, it will defend itself. You and I will try to climb the ceiling. So for me, I know for sure that this National Convention that is coming up between 14th to 15th will determine the way forward for PDP. But rest assured, I'm happy that INEC has agreed that yes, Sam Damagum is the authentic, and that they will indeed go to observe the National Convention. Let's start from there and going forward. For I know for sure. But one thing I want to appeal or admonish the president and the co-travelers. They should have all the platforms, all the parties have a self-relief, and by have an unhindered access in terms of the national demography and what have you. They should allow them be. They should give them freedom. If you work and you have something to sell yourself, let all of us go there and begin to canvass. You remember, let me take you back to Awolowo and Abubakar. There was a time Awolowo went to the north to campaign, and some northerners of the loyalists went and met Abubakar that you must go for a campaign. Look at what Awolowo is doing, and immediately he went and he did forgive Awolowo even till tomorrow. So that's the point. If you are mobile, you go and sell yourself. Let Osoro go and sell his or herself, and we go.
There's still this belief that when people say somebody is the one putting problems and causing issues and not looking at the root cause, I really thought maybe you look at the members of the PDP and say the members of the PDP should come to a round table and come to a conclusion, and not blaming the APC-led administration that may not perhaps be involved in the crisis of the PDP.
Osoro, I pray that you will not have an in-house enemy, be financed by your enemy. And you won't understand now. As time comes, you will agree with me. I'm a family man. I came from a large family. I know exactly what I'm talking about. You see, the most difficult fight to win is a fight, is a family fight. Not just a family fight that is being engineered from outside. It is very difficult.
Oh. So the problems before we go for this break, Mr. Enabulele, the problems in the PDP is being engineered from outside.
As of today, it's being engineered from outside.
Engineered by who?
You can even see from the court. Yes, you can even see from the court judgments.
Who engineered by who?
By the president and the court travelers.
Allegations on national TV.
I'm saying it on the national TV. If, for instance, it's not in tune, or perhaps it's not comfortable with it. One of your cabinet members is causing crisis and is making derogatory and will use taxpayers' money to do a press briefing, castigating party. You've not called him to order. But let's not be sincere. I'm a family man. My wife cannot just go out and begin to castigate members of my family without me engineering my wife. And I will not call my wife to order, or my son, or my daughter.
Maybe that's his own way of allowing freedom.
If I'm not part of that system, I will call my wife, my son, or my daughter to order immediately.
So let's go for a break. We'll back. We'll continue the conversation. Thank you so much, Mr. Destiny Enabulele, former chairman, Ovia Southwest local government chairman in Edo State. We'll come back, and when we come back this time around, we'll be looking at global politics as we look at Trump's designation of Nigeria as a country of political concern and what it means for us as Nigerians at this time. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back from that break. This is still Big Talk, a program where we highlight political issues concerning Nigeria and how to actually move this country forward. We must make sure that we accelerate development and we get from just being developing countries to becoming developed countries. And now let's look at international politics as we bring the discussion to the other phase for tonight. On November the 1st, we saw Donald Trump, the president of the United States, using a social media platform to say that the Department of War, as it was called before, Department of Defense, now called the Department of War, should prepare for a possible and fast military action in Nigeria, and on what he called failure of the Nigerian government to actually right, stemmed the killing of Christians. He went along to describe Nigeria as a disgraced country. And according to Donald Trump, the country has allowed large-scale killings of Christians, and this is not what should be at this particular time. I like to, bring in Mr. Destiny into this conversation. You saw the tweets of Donald Trump, what he said about Nigeria, and what do you think about what he said, and how does it go to affect Nigeria's image as the giant of Africa, as we used to say, if we still had a giant, or if if there was ever a time where we were the giant of Africa? Let's have your view generally on what you perceive as to that Donald Trump.
So let me again appreciate your platform for this opportunity. You see, we must call a spade is never a guiding fork. There's a saying that it is only your friend that will tell you that, oh, my friend, your mouth stinks or is oozing out. You see, what Trump has said to me, I have not picked any offense in it. We must be very frank. I think, let me try to start this way. We are from a family. If, for instance, your siblings, perhaps your elder ones, they have children, and one of them is not tutoring or perhaps bringing the children well, you as a person, it is your duty to caution or perhaps to call your elder one that, look, you are not doing this thing right, or perhaps intervene by cautioning the ones or the children and to do the right thing. Because if you fail to do that, tomorrow they might be your responsibility. And that is what Trump has just done. In Africa, there is a saying that it's a community that gives birth to child or children. The community go together and discipline. I remember when I was growing up. That's what Trump has done. He has not done anything abominable. At any rate, let me quickly take us back. I don't know if you've forgotten what happened in Rwanda, the Tutsis, when there was a serious genocide. The issue of responsibility to protect is not. Trump did not just come with it, not just originate it. It's a UN doctrine, and not why our brother from Ghana, what's his name? Kofi Annan. As a result of what happened, that's genocide in Ghana, that we must be our brother's keeper. That's exactly what he has said. Okay, look, since Nigeria will fail in our responsibility, we must adopt the UN doctrine by way of discipline whoever is erring. That, to me, it's a straightforward thing. I'm a student of diplomatic practice. So for us, I have not seen anything wrong with it. Perhaps we are all members of the United Nations organizations. So they are using one of the articles to say, okay, we must whip all of us to line that are not doing well. At any rate, Nigeria is not becoming a cause for concern for everybody, especially the developed world. Our children are passing the Mediterranean Sea. And again, the killings left, right, center. Do you know what it has done to our pockets? Ordinarily, if I'm coming to Benin, to Abuja, I love driving, or perhaps use public transport. But today I can't dare it because of what is happening in the north, which is gradually gravitating or snowballing into the south. And you are not saying that Trump has said we should do the right thing and we must insult him. Man, I try to be very careful not to use any foul language here. We must be sincere to ourselves. So for me, what he has said or what he has done is for us, our government, to sit tight. You see, I think it was Abacha that once said that if crisis or a disturbing situation or militancy continue more than an hour or more than a day, 24 hours, you know that the government has hands in it. And that is the gospel truth. Just now, Sowore has been declared wanted in Lagos State because he's not singing the tune of the president and the co-travelers. Nnamdi Kanu has been in detention for years because he's not pro the government of the day. And we have seen many, I won't mention names, that are pro. And they are working with Sarin. They are working with our security agencies that will be paid with our taxpayers' money. They are working. The people that say that the society must do it right, and the government must do it right, and these are the things that they are saying that we must take them to Ligogota and so. No, it's not done that way. So for me, it's a very straightforward thing. the government of the day, they must sit right and do it right. And I tell you, let me quickly say this. This is not that all of us, we are all crying. We've heard that it was even this government, this party that is the government today, that President Ahmed Bola Tinubu was among the delegates with the SY president late Buhari, Oshomole, and many, no, not Oshomole, I think it was former national, yes,
John Oyegu.
John Oyegu. They petition. What they have just done is to open what the petition, the cry to United States. It's okay, let's go ahead and implement. And that's exactly what has happened. And you are not saying that, you've cried to me that your son is not doing it right. And now I want to help you discipline your son. You are not telling me I should not, oh, no, man, no, we must be very careful. What kind of human being are we? Come on, please, let us be very sincere.
Right, so, talking about now Nigeria being designated as a country of particular concern, under the U.S. Religious freedom law, this designation means that they've been serious, according to the U.S., a violation of religious freedom in Nigeria. But let's look at the other side. We've had arguments. We've had the Ministry of Foreign Affairs issue out a press release where the ministry talked about the fact that, yes, there are crises in Nigeria, but the government is trying to, avert those crises and actually trying to see how to solve the crisis. But the name genocide, it's not what it is according to the ministry. And we've had people come out to say, even the former 2023 presidential candidates under the platform of the NNPP, right? Former governor of Kano State, Kwankwaso, is come out to say it's not a genocide. What we have is tribal crisis. What we have could be crisis for resource control, but genocide, that is not what is happening. Oh,
sorry. What is happening in Nigeria is not genocide. What happened in Rwanda? What happened in Rwanda in 1994? Between Tutsis and that they brought down the airplane of the then president. It was genocide. But when it comes to Nigeria, it's not genocide. We are not serious. We are not a serious nation. What is genocide? Trying to
targeted killing of a
particular religion, tribe. What has been happening? You can see our Christian brothers, sisters, at the time, they will go to churches.
But of recent, yeah, we have those concerns, but we can't really say of recent maybe it started as religious, but of recent there's resource control. Those are what the ministry. I'm just trying to tell you what they've said. What the ministry has
said. You're expecting something different from them.
And what the stakeholders and statesmen in Nigeria are saying that we shouldn't deepen the divisions and the divides that we have.
You see, what we are saying, we are not saying the Hausa, we are not saying the Fulani, we are saying bandits. We are not saying Fulani, Esme. We are not saying Hausa. We are not saying Yoruba. We are not saying Edo. We are not saying Ijo. We are saying bandit. So crying out loud, who's dividing who? At any rate, any person in this country that say that what is happening in this country, or perhaps what Donald Trump has said, is an enemy of this country, that person is the greatest enemy of this country.
Right, so
that is the gospel truth.
Yeah, that's okay.
Since we are faith as a people, as a leader, as someone is also could draw up or perhaps waking us to our responsibility. I started an instance earlier. If, for instance, your elder brother has children and they are misbehaving, and you try to draw your elder brothers, look at, you've not done anything wrong. Have you done anything wrong? Answer me.
In the African culture.
That is exactly what Trump has said. And perhaps it will trust as an African.
Right. But there's this talk, Mr. Enabulele, there's this talk about sovereignty as Nigerians. And in government classes, we were taught that one of the things that makes a country is that a country has sovereignty. And what is sovereignty? Ability to rule yourself, decide for yourself, and lead your people, make your own laws and all of that. People have talked about the fact that Donald Trump, without consultation, talked about invading Nigeria. That is invading our sovereignty. That talk is on one hand. But on the other hand, a lot of other people have argued that Donald Trump does not have the accurate facts as to, put out the facts out there and, talk about this. So I like that you talk about these two things, the sovereignty of Nigeria and the facts about all of this. Then before I ask the other...
In an attempt to answer the issue of sovereignty, as a people, if we all decide to subsume our collective sovereignty to a government, we're under that government. And whenever we are running foul of the law, they will whip up to line by way of bringing us back to line. And Nigeria is a member of the United Nations. And whenever we are going out of radar, they can use some of their doctrine or article or laws to say we are not doing it right. And we're becoming a concern to many developed countries. I've traveled to some countries. We are being on the news for the wrong reasons. Yeah, we are doing well, yeah. But look at what is happening around us. Can we say, indeed, we are sovereign? And I think I've said in one of the some other platforms, a nation where its security architecture cannot wrestle what will currently be developed in terms of insecurity, there's a problem. I think I've heard some army officers coming to say blah blah blah. And at any rate, I'm even more disappointed at those army officers. Ordinary with eternal crisis within the country, you cannot nip it on the board. But here you are, they are promoting you every day. You are becoming a general. What war have you defeated? You've not. Why should you be given a general? I think they need to bury their head in shame, with utmost humility. With utmost humility, because many of them, they become the contractors. They have abandoned their constitutional duty to safeguard our territorial integrity.
Right. So we talked about the issue of concerning data. And Donald Trump does not have enough data to put out this claim.
You see, I think we are just being mischievous. Are you aware that a certain time the United States came to rescue one of their citizens in this country? Were you aware? Even the security architecture of this country, we're not aware that they left before. You see, when we're talking about data, let us be very sincere. We as a people or as a government, we are not a data-driven government. When last did we conduct our census? We are only guessing that we are around 300 million. We are around 200-something million. How do we arrive at that? Census ordinarily ought to have been by what we have. I participated in census ought to have been every 10 years. Since 2006. Since 2006. By next year to be 20 years. And you are here, you're telling me data. We're not a data-driven country. Even in Anambra, one of the contestants, one of you asked him one very salient, simple question. And he fumbled. I want to govern a state that you are not even aware of. You don't know the nitty-gritty. You don't know the length and breadth. You don't know the population of your state.
Right. So
we are not
gradually.
You see, let me quickly say this. Yeah. The United States, they have more data concerning Nigeria than our government. Right. I can beat my chest and say it anywhere.
All right. So let me try to put out these questions before we end the show for tonight. We've seen reactions from world powers. China have said they're monitoring the situation in Nigeria, and I'm saying the U.S. has no right to interfere in Nigeria's situation. We've also seen Russia saying they're monitoring the situation in Nigeria, and even the AU saying that yeah, Nigeria has issues, but they're working towards solving it. But one of the things that beats my imagination is that our neighbors, we've not, apart from Niger saying they're closing their border, Chad also talking about closing their border, we've not had reactions from African countries. So I like that you put all of these into context.
Which EU? Toothless bulldog. I'm sorry for using such words. I don't want to discuss about the African Union with utmost humility. And what was the other question?
You talked about Russia. I'm talking about the response of the international community and even our neighbors.
You see, I heard you talk about China. China, their concern is their investment. Let me quickly say this. Perhaps you listened to, or perhaps you must have heard the senator representing Edo North. When you point an accusing fingers on the Chinese national of fueling the insecurity in this country. If you're a senator, what information do you and I have? We don't have any compared to a senator. Let's be very sincere. So if a senator can come on the national TV, perhaps you've not heard, you've not seen the video. I have the video. That choppers coming down in the bushes and supplying the arms and ammunition. Even go further to allege that even some retired and even serving generals, they're part of this menace that is bedeviling us as a nation. At any rate, so for me, you don't expect the security formations to be alive or to be up and doing.
Yeah, but let's talk about the reactions of these countries. Are you worried that...
Which countries?
China, Russia...
I told you just now. They are part and parcel of the crisis that is bedeviling this country. It was said by Senator Adams Oshomole. Not me, I'm not the first person. And again, they are protecting their investment. They have invested so heavily. They have invested heavily. Even to some extent.
Africa have not...
The minister has said that we should be learning Chinese in our schools.
Which of the minister?
I think Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Well, it's an international language. There's nothing wrong about learning.
I haven't said that. With purpose humility. No, wait. I haven't said anything for anything is wrong. Yeah. Don't misconstrue me. But that's to tell you that they are trying to safeguard their interest.
Thank you so much, Mr. Destiny Enabulele.
My pleasure.
This is where we have to end the show.
Thank you very much.
Delight having you on the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your wealth of experience and your sharing your thoughts with us tonight. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you
so much, people. And this is where we get to end the show. We've been talking to Mr. Destiny Enabulele. He's a civil society leader and also a former chairman of Ovia Southwest local government in Edo State. All right. As we looked at the crisis in the PDP, he's a chieftain of the PDP and he has his own opinion as to how the crisis is, snowballing in that particular party. And we also talked about Nigeria being designated a country of particular concern by the U.S. president. That's the show for tonight. My name is Ubong Usoro in Abuja, and we're saying bye for now.